Hello, welcome to another little weekly reading vlog. My last vlog went pretty horribly, so we're trying this again. This one just chilling casual though. So I will say first things first, if you can see junk in the background, I have my sewing kit out. You can probably tell, or maybe not, but I have been making some additions to my battle vest, which is why I have it on. In this clip. I need to do a flash tour of it or something at some point, but I'm trying to work on it as much as possible at this point because it is download in June, and I really want this to be it's not going to be finished because it's probably going to be years before I collect enough patches and badges and things to fully finish it, which is what all this is. I've just got patches and shit just everywhere. But I've been reminded that I need to be working on it constantly because I'm actually going to see a concert pretty soon, and I'm debating whether or not to wear this. It's only at Leeds Arena and it's indoors and it's going to be dark, so do I really need to wear this? I don't know. I might just leave it at home. I'm so excited though. I get to see Babymetal. I'm just incredibly hyped. I still kind of can't believe it's real. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on. Reading wise, I figured you know what I need after the last sort of book. I'm kind of in a reading slump, to be honest, so I'm not really sure what I want to be reading, so I figured I want to try something short and low commitment, I guess. And I figure I'm going to see some nice alt, heavy metal bands kawaii metal, and I'm not kawaii metal, monster metal, and what a Sabaton historical World War II era ass metal. I don't even know. I kind of want some more vampires because I need to keep up on my goal to read vampires. I am going to be reading Vampire Weekend by Mike Chen, which is all about a vampire who follows alternative bands and things in her immortality, I guess. She's I'm just gonna keep track of a load of bands, which I would do the same. And it's really short. This is what I feel like reading. So between making updates to this probably soon to be pretty grimy vest, this is what I'll be reading. I'm just gonna have a chill time, you know. Join me for some vampires, some heavy metal vlog stuff. I guess I'll try and vlog, and yeah, that is what the imminent future has in store for me. So if you want to see that, and if I don't mess up this vlog like I mess up every vlog, stick around and I'll let you know how I got on with the alt music vampires. So I am back from my gig. It's actually the next day. Because while I may look kind of gross, I still don't look this put together after a concert. First things first, £40 for a tour t-shirt? 40. If I owned a single other piece of Babymetal merch, it would never have happened. So yeah, £40 t-shirt. The horror. Anyway, yeah, the gig was really good. Babymetal, fantastic. I'm so sad that I will never get to see Yui Metal, but it just is what it is. I've missed them so many times, and at least I can say now that I've seen them, they were fantastic. Su Metal is amazing. I'm not here to fangirl, but I am a little bit. They played two of my favourite songs. They played Kitsune and Gimme Chocolate, and I was so convinced that they would probably end the set on Karate because it's such a good song to end on. They didn't though. I was waiting for them the whole time to play it because I think that's either Kitsune or Karate is my favourite Babymetal song. I'm not 100% sure. It's probably one of those two. And I was just so convinced they would play it because it's such a good song, and it's a popular song, but they didn't. But nonetheless, fantastic gig. This is despite the fact that it was pouring it down with rain. I got soaked because most people didn't bring any umbrellas because you're not allowed to bring things bags and stuff inside. You can bring I think maybe teeny purses or something, but that's it. Anything that would reasonably fit an umbrella you can't bring into the venue. So everyone was just soaked. Nobody had brollies. Whoever their sound guys are, I don't know if individual bands, I'm assuming each band has their own sound guys and tech guys. And let me tell you, I have been to literal tiny pub gigs where guitarists can't even figure out how to turn on an amp, and I have heckled them to their face about it. But this is the worst sound I have ever seen on any gig, and I feel really, really bad. The first act were Lordi, and they're like, I think they're Finnish, like monster metal. They're fantastic, they have great energy, they're really, really fun, and like they seem like such nice people. Like the way they were talking to the crowd, I'm like, they're so sweet. They're just these guys dressed up in like, I don't know, like troll-like or like goblin-like monster costumes with like horns and things. Ladies. Like, they're meant to be such a good, fun, theatrical act. I will say all 3 acts are meant to be, like, very, like, high-energy, theatrical kind of acts. But the thing is, every single instrument and the microphone were all constantly cutting in and out. And this happened for the first song, and I'm thinking, oh, someone's gonna, like, run in and, like, do some stuff. They're gonna, like, I don't know, like, vamp with the crowd a little bit, maybe, like, have a chat with, like, the audience, as, like, a lot of live acts do, while somebody, like, fixes whatever the fuck is going wrong. Nobody fixed it. Nobody fixed it. It went on for the entire set. We got 4 songs in, and I was thinking, someone's got to do something. Like, they must know. And, like, it's not the band's fault. The band were, like, doing their best. They were being fantastic. Like, they were, like, you know, the show must go on kind of attitude. Like, they were fantastic. Like, Lordi, amazing. I loved them. I loved seeing them. But it gets worse. Like, literally, like, every time, like, the drummer would hit a cymbal, everything would cut out. There was this constant, like, beeping, like, tapping noise. Like, you can tell that something's plugged in, but not quite plugged in. And then, as if it couldn't get worse, randomly, 3 or 4 times throughout the set, there would just be like the loudest screeching static for like a full 5 seconds. Screeching static, like pure feedback. And this happened like 3 times, and the worst part is it happened during like the big moment, like the climax of the show, where like the singer, he's there, like his wings come out, it's fantastic, he's hitting a high note, except we couldn't hear any of that. We could literally just hear pure like ear-melting static. I feel so bad for them. They were doing everything they could. Like, as an act, I feel so bad for them. And they were fantastic. This is not on them. This is on, like, whoever is the sound guy for that, fired. I swear, they have to. There's no way. There's no coming back from that. There's no coming back from that. It was just... it wasn't the case for, because they set up like a whole stage and then like dismantle it and reset stuff up for like the next act. Babymetal as well, they just have like headsets as well, so they were fine, except for like some mixing, because their voices were really, really quiet for like the first 2 songs, but I think they fixed it for like some of the later songs, so like that's fine. There was a moment, oh my god was there a moment, before Sabaton came on, we thought it was part of the act. It wasn't part of the act. There's meant to be like this big voiceover that comes on to like introduce a song. It's very historically accurate, like World War stuff. Yes, I was tricked into a history lesson. They were like amazing performers, by the way, so good. But before anything even started, like this voiceover comes on and we're thinking, oh, is this like the intro? Like it's all dark. You can see like stage hands and things are like moving about the stage, like putting stuff up, like instruments or whatever. And you're thinking, oh, when the lights come up, this is like the intro and then the band will be there. Not what happened. What happened was one of the pyrotechnics, which in this case was never seen these before, an indoor firework? Like a firework, but to be set off indoors, like in a room that has like a ceiling. Didn't know that was a thing. One of those randomly went off from the stage. I think maybe 2 of them, because there were 2 explosions on the ceiling. Everything went dead quiet, all the stagehands left the stage, the crowd were like, started cheering, realised something had gone wrong, everyone went silent, then people started like laughing and jeering because we're like, are they okay? Did somebody just accidentally like trigger a firework? None of that should have happened, none of that should have gone off. Somebody accidentally triggered the voiceover, which wasn't meant to happen yet, and then accidentally triggered 1 or 2 pyrotechnics with people on the stage who clearly were not prepared for fireworks to be going off around them. Like, I've seen a lot of things go wrong. Like, I've seen Five Finger Death Punch get forcibly removed from the stage at Download. That was so funny. I think I've also seen Airborne get kicked out of Sonisphere Festival because the guy climbed one of like the really tall like speaker tower things in the rain, barehanded. So like, I've seen shit go wrong at gigs. I've seen a lot of things go wrong at gigs. But I just feel none of these things were like the band's fault. These were all like technical issues to do with like people setting it up. Like mainly the sound guys, to be honest, but also whoever the hell was in charge of those pyrotechnics. Other than that, I had a lovely time. been a fun evening for me. I did sleep in, ate some lovely bacon and eggs, so like I'm in a good mood. And I have just filmed an unboxing, which I don't normally do, like straight up unboxings, but what I do need to do is I really want to just sit and read this weekend, but I really need to focus on like spring cleaning. I honestly want to take everything out of my room, dust, vacuum, everything. I have this overwhelming desire to wash every single piece of clothing I own and then put everything back in my room, and I just feel like that's going to take more than a weekend. I will be reading at some point. That said, I want to go to the cinemas tomorrow. There's a vampire film out. It's called Renfield, based I guess on Renfield from Dracula. I think, is Nick Cage playing Dracula? I don't really like Nicolas Cage as an actor, to be honest, but like if he's playing like a hammed up, like campy sort of Dracula vampire, like I can totally get on board with that. That's fine. And I just feel like thematically, you know, heavy metal gig and then some vampires all in the same weekend. That is a good weekend for me. Yeah, those are my plans for the weekend. And if I get reading done in between that, fingers crossed I will, but that would be nice. It'll be a bonus. This update is starting to get a little bit rambly, but one thing I do have to let you know about last night's gig is my favourite part of last night, which isn't actually my favourite part because Babymetal were, but like the thing that I will like say is officially my favourite thing of the night was the whole time on stage there was like this really big like display of like light up letters that said the tour to end all tours, and before any bands have come on, maybe like 15-20 minutes before anybody's due to start playing, like they're all just still setting up and stuff, people are filtering in, and for some unknown reason the E and only the E on the sign lit up. I think I have a photo of it here. It was just nothing, and then there's just big glowing illuminated E, and as you can probably predict, the whole crowd is just staring up at it shouting E! Several thousand people in chorus just pointing and screaming E at this big letter E. Oh, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. Best, like my highlight of the night, honestly. My rambling is eating into my weekend time, which if it's going to eat into anything, it's going to end up being reading time, isn't it? So I'm going to go. I'm going to clean this goth shit off my face, and I promise next time I update, I will update on some actual reading. Hello, so please excuse how I look. It has been a long day, and it's really like, it's warm for this time of year, at least I think it is. Not that I don't basically run at sub-zero. So, actual reading update, I'm about like 150 pages into this, and like, it's okay, I'm not really like into it yet. I kind of like the tone of it, and I feel like this is more of a book about music and like the music scene, and it's not even really like the alt music scene, like I suppose it kind of technically is, but it's very like, great timing my camera died. Yeah, I think I was saying like this, it's mainly like mainstream rock kind of music, like they're talking about like Bowie and the Beatles and, oh, I'm so trying to think of like the other bands they've mentioned, but like they're all like very mainstream bands, that Daft Punk. So like not quite as like into my direction, like not bands that I hate, but it's like, I thought we'd be going like more like actual like alternative like rock, punk, metal, that way. But I do like the way that the book talks about music and like the music scene, and the way that the main character like feels about her instruments and seeing bands and playing music, and so that part of the book I'm really liking. What I will say is, being 150 pages in, there have been some kind of vampy shenanigans, but for the most part, it's almost kind of like the characters being a vampire is like almost like secondary to the plot in a way that, yes, that is what the plot focuses on, but okay, second camera battery death, great. I think I was basically saying that like you could swap out Louise's being a vampire for like being like a secret agent or like a secret like Super Sentai star or something like that. It's less specifically about being a vampire and it's more like the secret other hidden life kind of trope, at least in the way that it like interacts with her living family members, I guess. Which, another thing, I totally expected it to be like an older teen, like 16 and up maybe, but probably like an older teen like turning up on her doorstep sort of out of the blue, and it's not. It's like I think the character, I think Ian, is like about like 13 or something. They're like constantly with like an older family member as well, so it's just a bit like it's very much about like family and like hospital stuff. I feel like if you told me that this would be so much more about family and like family tragedy, I guess, and like a very young, just scraping the first years of being a teenager, then I might have had like second thoughts about picking this up. I don't hate it, but it isn't what I thought it would be. And that said, I've just got like 150 pages in, and it's not really a spoiler because this is like part of the plot that comes in quite early. Obviously there is like a lot to do with like being a vampire in the way that like vampire society works like in this story. If I knew how much of it, which I'm pretty sure this is going to revolve around an app, like a smartphone app and technology, and I know it's just, and it's not just because I don't like modern plot threads or anything, but like this is why I stray away from reading like urban fantasy and modern fantasy and even portal fantasy, to be honest, like because I do not vibe with characters having like vampire smartphone app things installed on their phone, and that being like what I'm assuming is going to be like one of the big plot points. It's this stupid vampire community app, and I'm like, look, I don't even like apps in real life. Like have you seen how old my phone is? I can't even download a lot of apps, and I don't really want to read about it. I like escapist things, you know? I don't know. I like Louise as a character, and that's why I'm reading, but like the vampiness is not vamping for me. It's very minimal. It's just not vampy enough, and like every chapter starts with like a fun fact about vampires or like a fun non-fact about vampires. I'm just not getting into it. I am getting through it fairly quickly. I honestly want to famous last words, I want to try and have this finished by like maybe like probably by tomorrow, I guess, but we'll see how that goes. Because I feel like every time I say I'm going to have a book finished, and I'm not even going to mention the IBAGs because I'm jinxing myself every time. I suppose the way I'm feeling is I suppose it kind of is like a palate cleanser kind of book. It's been very forgettable so far, which I don't like saying. I feel like this book is definitely for some people. It just isn't my thing just yet. It's very much a contemporary story with kind of like some mild vampire shenanigans, and that's fine for some. I just want the angst. I just want the drama. I really did just jinx it. Third battery death. I guess I jinxed it. Technology does not like me, and now I have to film on said smartphone, which now you can definitely tell how old my phone is because this clearly looks like I'm filming on a potato. Because this is clearly, I'm gonna hate editing this now. I am going to go and just like try and read as much as I can, honestly. I'm trying not to skim because so much of like the narration just feels a bit superfluous and like padding, but I also feel like that is just the nature of contemporary books, because like in a fantasy, pretty much everything you say is developing like the world or the characters or the plot, but like when it's a contemporary setting, like what is there to develop? I don't know. I don't need descriptions of like basic mundane things that I do in everyday life because I do them. I only really want to see that in a fantasy when it's like something cool and new, like doing magic or brewing a potion or something. I don't know. So I'm trying to make my peace with it, but I think what I was saying was that it's basically like a palate cleanser of a book because I feel like it's going to be very forgettable. At least I'm getting to tick off like I will have read a vampire book by the end of it, which like brings my number up, which is great. But otherwise, I'm not vibing with it. It's not bad. It's just not what I want. Anyway, this update is a mess. so I think it's time for me to check out. Hello. So I actually did what I said I was going to do for once, and I pretty much powered through this whole book. I finished it just this morning, and I think my initial like feelings about this pretty much cover like everything I feel about this book. I guess I did enjoy it, and like it's again, it's more like a tale of just specifically like the main character's own like specific character arc, and like getting over certain parts of like her own, I guess, trauma, I guess like personal trauma against the backdrop of like a modern sort of vampy kind of setting. I think I did like it overall, but probably to the point where like this is only going to be a 3 stars. It does have LGBT rep in there. It's not really the focus of the story, but it is in there, and I feel like, sorry if you can hear like the outside world, because like it's really warm and the window's open, and I am dumb and wore long sleeves, so trying to make this go as fast as possible. Again, the vampire stuff is kind of like, it could have been anything. You could have replaced the vampiness with sort of any other like small community type thing. I feel like it probably is a really good story for someone, not for me specifically, but I feel like it's worth mentioning because if you feel like any of these sort of topics jump out at you, there is also a corgi in like pretty much every chapter, so like if you really like cute dogs, bonus. Yeah, so there was nothing bad about this book. It was totally fine. It's just, I know that I don't pick up this kind of setting, like this genre, for a reason, and it's because the things that kind of make this genre and not things that I tend to enjoy. I gave it a go. It was a vampire new release, and like I do think the cover's pretty cool. Like I just like the vibe of this book, so I'm glad I picked it up and gave it a go. But at the same time, I think the next vampire book I pick up, I will try so hard to make sure that it's like an actual, like, I don't know, it doesn't have to be like melodramatic, but I want the vampiness, the being a vampire, the existence of a vampire to be like the main thing. That's how I'm feeling. I feel like this is turning into like more of like a wrap-up, which is probably because I haven't done a wrap-up in a while. But yeah, at least I like successfully finished a whole book in a vlog. Wow, look at me go. I also have kind of a lot that I want to, I'm really busy at the moment, and like my mental health is not great, which I'm trying not to let influence this vlog, but I was kind of looking at, because obviously this was a short book and I still don't really think I have the energy to pick up like a chunky kind of book, because I hate when I can't just like sit and like read a book all the way through. I hate when I have like days or even like maybe like a week where I don't get to read, because it's like if I'm at work quite a lot, I have a lot of like in-person meetings coming up soon, and I just know that I'm not going to read after work on any of those days, and I'll probably be so exhausted that like I might want like the weekend to recover. So then I'm like, well, that could end up being like a full week of no books. So I'm trying to focus on like short books and like short reads, hence why like this was like a pretty good shout. Do I utter those words? I feel like maybe I might look at what audiobooks are available to me. Oh my god, can you believe I'm saying that? If you're new to this channel, it's because I don't read audiobooks. I don't really like them very much. I did recently do a whole week-long audiobook reading vlog, and I read 9 books in that week, or I listened to 9 books in that one week, and it was a mixed bag, but I feel like I remember my library had Waking Gods, which was the sequel to Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. I remembered I liked that one. It had kind of like a full cast. It's mainly just that my brain doesn't want to do anything right now, and like what would I do with my hands while I listen to an audiobook? My brain is saying finish my battle jacket, but the executive dysfunction is coming on so strong right now, because I'm like, I don't want to draw, I don't want to do any, I don't want to physically do anything. I want to sit like watch TikToks, but relatable, I guess. I pretty much just want to sit and just like binge easy stuff going into my brain, which don't know if that's good or bad for my ADHD. I feel like I need to, if this wasn't a dedicated booktube channel, I would make like a whole dedicated video to the fact that my phone, and specifically my TikTok, it's one of those where, like, you know, the algorithm kind of listens to you a little bit, but this is it's gotten scary. It's gotten to the point where like I can say to my friend in a chat, post something really random into this chat that we've never talked about before, try and make it something that I've never heard of before, and I guarantee within 24 hours it will come up on my TikTok FYP. We've done it about 15 to 20 times. It's not an outlier. They can literally just say something completely random. It's just anything we talk about, literally anything we talk about. If we repeat a word enough, we talk in Instagram chat, by the way, which is owned by Meta, and they're a different parent company to TikTok. So my TikTok is definitely, this sounds like a conspiracy theory thing, but like I know for a fact that my TikTok somehow has access to like my Instagram personal messages, because literally, it's not even a joke, it can be the most obscure random stuff. We've tested this out so many times, it's actually getting really, really, really funny. This is becoming a tangent, this is becoming such a tangent. I think basically the point that I was trying to make was, as much as I would like to just like turn off my brain and just watch TikTok, what I'm trying to say is I can't watch TikTok because it's ruined for me right now, and I don't want to reset my whole algorithm because I don't want to end up on like original dance trend TikTok. No, so I literally can't watch it at the moment. If I can figure out a way to make my brain accept listening to an audiobook, that would be great, because I don't want to slip back into like the slumpiness that was like the past 2 weeks, but we'll see how that goes. And very random fun fact, we're like having the house done up at the moment, which is why there's like stuff everywhere, but also we got rid of the sofa, so right now we have garden chairs. Okay, this is totally going to be a classic way to end this update, so I figure I will take a look at what audiobooks my library has, but I'm pretty sure they had Waking Gods. I'll have to have a look. I feel like they did. Nothing fun in the upcoming weeks because I just have work, so probably not the most interesting after this point, aside from like the reading updates. What I will say is, if I cannot make my brain behave, and this ends up being the last clip, at least I read a full book start to finish in this vlog. I feel like, can I call this vlog tentatively a success? I mean, compared to the last few, yeah, I can. So with that, I guess I'm gonna go and see like what audiobooks are available and like what I feel like reading if I do. If I do pick something up, then I will make sure to update on what I'm reading and my progress. And if I don't do that, you know where I'll be. You know that I'm trying to get my TikTok back to normal. In case I do not have a clip after this, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did make it this far, leave me any sort of like dog or dog themed emoji for Lola the Corgi from Vampire Weekend. I'm definitely more of a cat person than a dog person, but like, I still like dogs, so pick whatever your favourite dog themed emoji is. And I know it's not specifically reading related, but just because I'm reading like a book about like all kinds of musical genres, and also I've been to like a concert and I'm going to another one pretty soon, along with your favourite dog emoji, leave me like, let me know who's your favourite like band or musical artist. Like it can be literally anything, just let me know who your favourite musical act is. No one said I had to make these questions about books, so enlighten me in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye!